Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing very well. This window right here has the sun kind of going down. We are at sunset, so sorry for this really weird like cottagecore lighting. Also, I have the ugliest shirt on today, but I actually kind of really like it and I want to know what you're feeling about it, so let's talk about that below. Okay, we have Trisha Paytas and Keemstar fighting again. Woohoo! We are back to 2020, as in every single drama that happens every year references or repeats history. And right now we have Trisha and Keemstar battling it out online. And this has all started because Trisha Paytas went on their new podcast called Enemies. Sorry, just something about Trisha saying, you know what, I'm gonna do it on my own. We have Trisha Paytas, Enemies, and it is basically just Trisha sitting on a sofa, no real mic setup, and Trisha said the only reason they really started this was because they get their hair and makeup done at a certain time every week, and they thought they may as well use that to their advantage and film a podcast, as in just a 40-minute long video of Trisha coming for everyone. And in this one, Trisha is coming for Keemstar. Now, the context on why Trisha is coming for Keemstar is because Keemstar has announced his new love, and that he is very happy and very settled in life because of his new partner. Now, you're probably like, I don't care. And I'm like, I don't care. But then we look a little bit further into it, and Keemstar has announced that, okay, so it's important for context, Keemstar is a 39-year-old man, so he is going to be 40 next year, or this year. 40, anyway, at his next milestone. And he is dating a 20-year-old. Now, this has caused a lot of people to speak about it, and a conversation of age gaps, you know, after they turn 18, like what's the appropriate age, you know, to date in that, you know, can 30-year-olds date 20-year-olds, can 20-year-olds date 20-year-olds, can 40-year-olds? It has been a conversation that has been happening on the internet for the longest time, and obviously that Keemstar is the person in question, it's gonna get people talking even more so. But we're coming to a conclusion where people are a little bit uncomfortable, and by that I mean very, with this, because Keemstar addresses it by saying that he's sliding into new cheeks, which is what Trisha has said. Now, Trisha is talking about the new Mom's Basement podcast, where, you know, Keemstar is talking with, I think, FaZe Blanks is what H3 says, but FaZe Banks, and he's, you know, talking about how he's never been this happy before, and Keemstar just got out of a very long-term relationship. So obviously, as you can imagine, Trisha is very outspoken about this. One, because Trisha is saying that they find this very uncomfortable and very disturbing. Two, Trisha says that their own experiences with dating older men makes them want to speak up for other women going for older men. And three, Trisha and Keemstar just fucking hate each other. So, of course, Trisha's going to talk about this. Now, Keemstar has came back for Trisha, and I'm going to show you some clips on why Trisha is coming for Keemstar and, you know, like, where, you know, they're coming from. But also, it's important to note that a lot of people are agreeing with Trisha, and a lot of people aren't. Now, again, this topic is incredibly controversial when it comes to dating age gaps, and obviously my perception of it is going to be probably different than yours. I'm an 18-year-old. Maybe if you're a bit older, you may think a bit differently. Maybe if you're the same age as me. I want to know where you're at with it. So, do you see a problem with Keemstar being 40 years old, dating a 20-year-old, and talking about how he's sliding into new cheeks? And basically, a big thing that came up was Keemstar immediately tried to justify, you know, dating this person by saying that, one, she's not a fan because the topic of power play whenever it comes to, you know, Keemstar being famous, being rich, and that is a big thing whenever you're dating someone a lot younger that they very much so like coming from a younger person. Keemstar says that she didn't even know who he was before this, and she doesn't care about any of that, trying to justify it more, and Trisha is saying that that's all bullshit. And, okay, the thing is, the section of people that are coming for Trisha in saying that, you know, who's Trisha to speak up on this? Trisha says, to combat that, how dare you try to discredit me just because you don't like me? A lot of other people are throwing in that Trisha was on Tana's podcast last week and was saying about how, you know, Trisha and Tana should film OnlyFans videos together, and a lot of people are saying that Tana is like 22 and Trisha is, you know, in their 30s as well. There is that. But what I do want to say is the following. Trisha is speaking about Keemstar being 40 years old, dating a 20-year-old and criticizing it, and people are trying to discredit Trisha for that. But if Trisha was dating a 20-year-old, Keemstar would be the first person to make several videos mocking Trisha, coming for Trisha. We know how it works. Trisha was just the one who was able to make the first jump in this one because they're not the one dating the 20-year-old. So, also, Keemstar has been very outspoken about Trisha's relationships in the past. So, there's just a lot of back and forth. So, I have a couple timestamps here that I'm going to show you. Okay, so first, 3:40 for this, whenever it comes to Trisha talking about it, for a little bit of context. Okay, here we go.
I have a company, I have all these things. If you have a company, you don't supply minors with alcohol, point blank, period. If you're that concerned about your corporation and who you're feeding and their families you're feeding, as his excuse goes. Keemstar goes on to talk about a 20-year-old that he's currently seeing, and he's seeing a lot, according to his words. He made it clear within the first few minutes that this is not a fan. Because I know a lot of people say the power play, the power position, the power manipulation, which is a huge thing onto its own when you're older, richer, and more successful. It is what it is. You have power control, you have power play, you have this power, and you have the ability to control this person based on those three things, and he matches all the criteria. Now, even if you don't match all the criteria, Keemstar is 39, he'll be 40 next year, dating a 20-year-old. It has been scientifically proven, I have been told this time and time again, that the female mind, because he's with the female mind, natural born female mind, does not fully develop until the age of 25. With males, sometimes it's up to 18.
Okay, and again, that section of it goes into where you lie within the conversation of age gaps in relationships. This is a very challenging topic to discuss because I'm trying to address it in a way that allows people to feel comfortable with their own opinions in the comment section without attacking other people. And also, me coming at this from a very young person, like younger than the person that Keemstar is dating. So, from my knowledge, before I get to the next timestamp, and the world around me, I haven't done much dating, but the people that I have, like, dated around have been the oldest 19, so I'm 18, and I only ever started, like, dating when I was 18. So, it was, like, a 1 year, if you look at like that for me, or like 18 and 19, okay? And I want to know, you know, what yours has been, because I think it'll open up a much healthier conversation, you know, instead of just if we're like all attacking each other, or I'm trying to come the best way with this. So whenever it's a 39, 40-year-old with a 20-year-old, do I see an issue with that? I think it's creepy. I personally, and the reason I think it's creepy is because it's Keemstar. Now, the reason I'm saying it's creepy, beyond it being Keemstar, is because Keemstar is famous, and Keemstar is rich. And basically the same point that Trish is proving. You know, you can have your opinion on age gaps and stuff like that, but we're aware of Keemstar's personality, at least, the way he's talked about women in the past, whatever like that, and I'm going to focus on the way that it's Keemstar. It makes me a bit uncomfortable just because I know how much of a power play there is there and how much he plays into that. Now, me personally, being an 18-year-old, I honestly would date up to a 24-year-old. Like me. Like, I've never, ever kind of like thought about that in like a grand scheme of things, just 'cause I haven't done much dating. But I think that I probably would date up to the age of someone being like 24, like for me being 18. But that's just like, that's like the only context I can give on someone who's like 18. Could I personally ever see myself, even in like 2 years' time, dating someone that's twice my age? No, I just couldn't. Again, I'm trying to be like respectful and to each their own, and I bet you a big reason in this is that Keemstar is, you know, has money and is famous and stuff like that. But it's just me personally, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next timestamp. It's, you know what I mean? And so the people who are criticizing Trisha are, you know, being like, you know, you've done creepy stuff with like even Tana or whatever, made suggestive jokes to Tana. And it's like, okay, like let's strip back the person who's, you know, providing us with it, like, what's our opinion of it, okay?
A 20-year-old. Not only is he doing this, he's also showing, there's a point where he's like, let me just text you this. He's texting FaZe Banks something. FaZe Banks goes, wow, she has a really nice ass. So I'm going to assume this is either a provocative picture or a nude picture. He says she's in the other room, but she's not in that room. They don't cut. They specifically say, let's not cut because I want to hear your actual reaction. And so there's no consent being asked on the thing. He's showing this right there. This almost 40-year-old guy, we'll just say his age, 39. Because 39 is still gross to be dating a 20-year-old. This 39-year-old guy is showing his 30-something-year-old friend a picture in some way of this 20-year-old's ass. To which he said, not a fan, and that he's also hooking up with other people. Just...
Okay. My full thing in that is where my problem lay with saying that my issue as well as like Keemstar in this. Because Keemstar has this like bro mentality at like 40 years old. And, you know, like, Trisha talks how Keemstar says that like he's mentally 25 years old. And it's always a problem whenever someone says, in relating to some sort of like sexual thing, that they're mentally a lot younger or physically a lot younger or whatever like that. So Keemstar has always said that he's like 25 at heart. And it's like, okay, but you're not. So that logic doesn't apply to you dating a 20-year-old. And just the conversation of like showing like nude photos or lewd photos or, you know, of someone's ass, like the person you're dating whenever they're like 20 years old, to like your bro friends whenever you're like, it's just, that's where like my full like just ickiness is with this. Okay, so on Trisha's video, actually I'm gonna go to one more timestamp and then I'm gonna like show you kind of what, even on Trisha, who is getting a lot of like obviously negative attention right now, what the overall like reaction is.
My name is Sean
but
Matthews.
one second, I'm gonna have to sit through a fucking YouTube ad. You know what? Fair play.
like that.
Okay.
Like the fact that he's even say like sometimes I feel creepy. I was worried I feel creepy. I was worried about judgment. I don't care about people's judgment. That's another red flag. Oh, don't worry about other people's judgment. We know us. We're having the time of our life. Like that's the other thing that they always will say. Like don't worry about people's judgment and all that bullshit. He goes on to say this girl doesn't know who he is. That he's like that I can't follow and you can't post pictures. That was rewind to Trish from 16 to 23-year-old dating 40-plus-year-old men. Even 35 plus, even 30 plus year old man. Like if you're over 30, you should not, like even if you're over 30, you have no business dating, hooking up with whatever you want to call it. FaZe is so, okay, I'm getting so heavy. FaZe is just,
not the 5% battery. Wrap it up.
He said that the reason is because she didn't know the hate she would get.
Okay, so this is the full thing. Like he's basically just like putting it off that, you know, she doesn't know that he's famous, and this is okay because he feels he's 25 or whatever like that. And obviously there's a lot of, like, suggestions and, like, places from Trisha calling him, like, a P word, like, insinuating, not necessarily saying it. And so Keemstar's response has been, like, why are you literally insinuating that I'm this? And it's just very, very, very messy. So I firstly want to know where you're at with it. It's just... Oh, sorry, I was going to read out the comments. I was like, what was I doing? I was processing that. I want to know where you're at with it. Okay, so here's the response. Okay, so someone said the following. If he has to consider that if she plays Minecraft, she's too young for me. Keemstar, you need to take advice on when you're calling other people out. She's too young for you. Let me see what else. I agree with Trisha. My mindset is in my 20s and it's very different in my 30s. What I find attractive is way different than what I find attractive now. You definitely gain more life experiences as you get older. Keemstar needs to apply that. Someone said Keemstar's feeling 25 for life when actually he should get 25 to life, as in insinuating that he should be in prison for 25 years. Very smart, Trisha Paytas comment section. Okay, so a lot of people are saying that, let's be real, if it was Trisha dating a 20-year-old man, Keemstar would be talking about this all the time. And I do think that is something to keep in mind. Someone said, I can't wait to see how Keem will react when some old creepy dude starts talking to his daughter the way he talks about the new girl. So again, that's, I don't know. Someone said, yeah. Okay, these are some graphic comments, let's not get into that. But a lot of people are agreeing with Trisha, and the people that are calling Trisha out are just saying that, you know, like, it's like, is Trisha Paytas the spokesperson that we can like all rely on? But yeah, a lot of people are also like validating what Trisha's saying because Trisha has had experiences with, you know, being used by all of these older powerful men, and Trisha uses that as like backup in their story as well. And they're like, if you're gonna discredit me, don't discredit that this stuff happened to me, therefore I can speak on it. It's just gonna be incredibly messy because Trisha and Keemstar hate each other anyway. So I wanna know where you're at with it. Let's talk about it below. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this video is not gonna like start a war in the comments. Let's be good, y'all. Especially with Keemstar and Trisha. It's gonna be powerful comments below. So I hope you have a great day. Chill and stay well. Okay, bye. Mwah.